Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the May 8th, 2025 meeting of the Memphis and Shelby County Land Use Control Board. My name is Mary W. Sharp. I will be serving as your chairperson today. We will begin this morning's meeting with a roll call. Mr. Ragsdale, would you proceed, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Gill?
Here.
Mr. McKinnon? Aye. Mr. Norman?
Here.
Ms. O'Connell?
Here.
Mr. Thomas?
Here.
Mr. Tolles?
Here.
Ms. Wilbanks?
Here.
Mr. Winter?
Here.
Vice Chair Lyles Wallace?
Here.
Chair Sharp?
Here.
Perfect attendance. Great.
Thank you. I would like to remind you that copies of today's agenda are located at the right front podium if you need them. If you wish to be a speaker on any case that is on today's agenda, please fill out an attendance speaker's card located at the front podiums. Once you have filled out the card, please bring it up front and hand it to one of our DPT staff members located at the left podium. When that agenda item is called, you will be given the opportunity to speak. At this point, I would like to read our conflict of interest statement. The adopted policy of the Land Use Control Board requires that any member of the board recuse himself or herself from any participation in the discussion or voting on any matters of the meeting's agenda in which he or she may have a direct or indirect personal interest. The member shall vacate his seat or her seat during deliberation on any matter from which they have recused themselves. An abstention may substitute for a recusal for the purpose of maintaining a quorum. I would now like to get approval of our minutes from the last meeting. May I please have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion about our last minutes? Hearing none, I assume we're ready to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Ragsdale, may I please get a secretary's report for this month and an explanation of today's procedures?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have a secretary's report, so I'll go into the procedure. At the beginning of today's meeting, we will establish a consent agenda for those items where no one in the audience or on the board is requesting an individual public hearing. After the consent agenda is established and approved, we will move on to the regular agenda. For each case on the regular agenda, the DPD planner will give a presentation. This will be followed by the applicant's presentation and any testimony from others who support the application. The applicant and supporters will be given a total of 10 minutes. Following each speaker, the chair will ask if the board members have any questions for that speaker. Next, the opposition will be given a total of 10 minutes to present their case. Following each speaker, the chair will ask the board members if they have any questions for that speaker. Finally, the applicant will then have a 3-minute rebuttal period under the same rules. Following all the presentations and after all parties have been heard, the chair will ask if the board members have any additional questions for anyone who spoke. Then the chair will close the public hearing portion of the case, entertain a motion on the matter, discuss, and then vote on the application. If an applicant or any speaker would like to be heard after the conclusion of the public hearing portion of the case, or if a board member wishes to hear any testimony from any party for additional clarification, a motion will need to be made along with a second and then a 2/3 affirmative vote of the board is required to reopen the public hearing portion of the agenda item. If the public hearing is reopened, both the applicant and the opposition will be allowed an equal amount of time to provide additional testimony. After the additional comments, the board will close the public hearing portion of the case and deliberate and then take a final vote. Again, if any member of the audience wishes to provide testimony in support of or in opposition to a case, he or she will need to fill out a speaker's card. These are available at the front podium. Speaker's cards are not required of applicants since their names are already part of the record.
Thank you, Mr. Ragsdale. The board is a supporter of community involvement, and we certainly welcome neighborhood comments and feedback. We are respectful of the fact that many of you have taken off work or adjusted your schedules to be here today, but we ask that your comments please be made within the time frame allowed. If there are multiple speakers, please try not to be repetitive so as to make the most of your side's 10-minute time allotment. Lastly, I'd like to ask you to silence your cell phones so as not to interrupt or disturb anyone during today's proceedings. With our procedures explained, I would like to introduce to my right Ms. Lisa Wilbanks. who will be this morning's consent agenda chairperson. Ms. Wilbanks will read items 1 through 16 as the consent agenda. Once the consent agenda is read, if you wish to discuss one of these items individually, please come forward and give us that item number, and we will pull that case. We will then vote on the remaining consent agenda items as one vote, and following the vote, we will hear the cases that were pulled individually. Ms. Wilbanks, would you please proceed?
Yes, ma'am. Item number 1, case PD 2025-001CO in unincorporated Shelby County. The request is a new plan development to allow an office and storage facility for a medical company located at 04 Steel Irene Road, south of Crestwood Hills Drive. Staff recommendation is approval with conditions. Item number 2, case PD 2025-002 in the Oak Haven Parkway Village area. The request is an amendment to PD 06-349 to add additional land for storage located at 3021 East Shelby Drive. Staff recommendation is hold for 1 month. Item number 3, case MJR 2025-012 in East Memphis. The request is a major modification to allow a drive-through coffee shop located at 7938 Winchester Road. Staff recommendation is approval with conditions. Item number 4, case MJR 2025-013 in North Memphis. The request is a major modification to convert previously approved private streets to public streets located at 190 Chelsea Avenue. Staff recommendation is approval with the conditions of the private to public street conversion, but rejection of the sidewalk waiver. Item number 5, case MJR 2025-014 in unincorporated Shelby County. The request is a major modification to the concept plan to allow apartment and assisted living uses located at 0 Houston Levy Road at the southwest corner of Houston Levy Road and Walnut Grove Road. The staff recommendation is approval with conditions, and we do have a friendly amendment to add.
Thank you, Ms. Wilbanks. For outline condition number 7, we are striking items C and D that are related to septic tank and private sewer, and we are adding a new C that will read, all buildings shall have a 50% minimum brick facade facing any public right-of-way.
All right, item number 6, case PD 2025-003 in the university area. The request is a single-family, attached and detached planned development at 3806 Butler Avenue. Staff recommendation is hold for 1 month. Item number 7, case S 2024-027 in Raleigh. The request is a 2-lot residential major subdivision located at 3286 Fairbanks Street. Staff recommendation is approval with conditions. Item number 8, case PD 2025-005 in Core City. The request is a residential plan development to allow 9 single-family lots located at 751 South Willette. Staff recommendation is approval with conditions. Item number 9, case S 2025-013 in Raleigh. The request is a 2-lot commercial major re-subdivision located at 3375 Old Brownsville Road. Staff recommendation is approval with conditions. Item number 10, case S 2025-019 in Fraser. The request is a 2-lot commercial subdivision located at 2584 Overton Crossing. Staff recommendation is approval with conditions. Item number 12, case S 2025-023 in Core City. The request is an 8-lot residential townhouse major re-subdivision located at 1362 Monroe Avenue. Staff recommendation is hold for 1 month. Item number 15, case SUP 2025-009 in Raleigh. The request is a special use permit to allow contractor storage in the commercial mixed-use 3 zoning district at 422 James Road. Staff recommendation is approval with conditions. Item number 16, case Z 2025-004 near Lamar. The request is a rezoning of approximately 6.13 acres from residential urban 1 to residential urban 3 district located at 2572 Park Avenue. Staff recommendation is approval. That is our consent agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Wilbanks. We have pulled items number 11, 13, and 14. The items on the consent agenda will now be voted on with 1 vote, subject to the recommendation of DPD. If the consent agenda is approved, only items number 11, 13, and 14 will have full independent public hearings. By voting on the consent agenda, each board member is affirming that he or she has read the staff report and agrees with its findings and, where applicable, its recommended conditions. Can I get a motion, please?
Yes, ma'am. Move to approve item number 1, case PD 2025-001CO. Item number 2, case PD 2025-002. Item number 3, case MJR 2025-012. Item number 4, case MJR 2025-013. Item number 5, case MJR 2025-014 with a friendly amendment. Item number 6, case PD 2025-003. Item number 7, case S 2024-027. Item number 8, case PD 2025-005. Item number 9, case S 2025-013. Item number 10, case S 2025-019. Item number 12, case S 2025-023. Item number 15, case SUP 2025-009. And item 16, case Z 2025-004.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I assume we're ready to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Now we're going to go to the regular agenda with Mr. Brown Gill.
Item number 11, S 2025-020, Raleigh 7-lot residential major subdivision located at 2604 Covington Pike.
The applicant is here. Okay. Can you give us your information, name, and address before we hear the case? Thank you. Is there going to be a presentation?
No, the staff does.
Yes, Madam Chair, we will get that up.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Travian Smith. I'm a planner with Division of Planning and Development, and I'll be presenting on S 2025-020, and the location of 2604 Covington Pike. The applicant for this application will be Worldwide Property Hub, LLC, and the request is for a 7-lot residential major subdivision. Here's a map that basically displays the location of where the Covington Pike is located, and then along with the vicinity map that basically highlights the area of the site.
Excuse me for a second, Trey. We're having a little trouble hearing because there's new mics, so maybe I'm trying to get the volume up, but and this is a new audio system, so we're working on it, so thank you.
Oh, it's on full, okay. Can you hear me now? Hold it up. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, moving forward, here's the location of the zoning map, which basically outlines the what the lot is currently zoned as, alongside the land use map, which highlights the contextual land use of the community. Here are site photos of the current site from Covington Pike. Additional site photos from Covington Pike. And then here's a preliminary plan of the site, which basically displays the 7-lot subdivision. In conclusion, the lot basically presents a cohesive of about 10.5 thousand square feet for each lot. And based off of our review, it does meet the regulations of the UDC, and everything is compatible in keeping with the character of development in the neighborhood. Our recommendation is approval with conditions, and the conditions shall be no access from Covington Pike. There shall be no parking allowed on the common driveway, with no parking signs shall be installed. And lastly, fire protection water supplies, including a fire hydrant, should be placed on the subdivision with access from Covington Pike, as required by the Memphis Fire Department. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Smith. All right, we're ready for presentation by the applicant and then the opposition?
I don't have a whole lot to add. I'll go. Can we get the preliminary plan back up? Do you mind? We're in agreement with the conditions of staff. I just want to point out that we've set this up with a common open space along the rear of the lots so that we have no drive access to Covington Pike. We did not want to put 7 new driveways out on Covington Pike along that stretch. So they'll take alley access from the back and we'll ensure that there's additional parking beyond the garage area on each of those. There's opposition here. I've got a pretty good idea what he's going to say, but I'm going to let him go ahead and say that, and then I'll reserve my time for afterwards.
Thank you. Okay, we have a person in opposition. Give us your name and address and your statement.
John Casper, 2857 Stage Park Drive. I am the president of the Stage Park Meadows Neighborhood Association. I'm representing several neighbors which live close to here. So, and I do have some pictures, if we could present those. And one of the pictures that I have in there, I also printed up a couple copies in case you'd rather look at it in print. This lot, as it borders onto Covington Pike, has an extreme drop in terrain. And when I say extreme, I mean I ain't even climbing down that hole. Okay, I'd have to go find me a Boy Scout to do that. It's so densely forested that it is very hard to see a bottom, much less get a sighting in there on my rangefinder to get a decent approximation of the depth. The papers I passed around, one of them will pop up here eventually, shows what I could pull off of a topographical map showing the changes in elevation. Depending upon where you source your figures, whether it's from my measuring or what we get off of a topographical map, you've approximately got a 25 to 28 foot ravine that is going to have to be filled in. Drainage is going to have to be compensated for because all the houses on Twinwood and the 2 houses on Oak Meadow drain into this ravine, which goes underneath Covington Pike. The lady on the corner at the Oak Meadow, I spoke to her daughter and she told me about playing in that ravine as a child and how much fun they had crawling through that tunnel. So, the change in terrain and change how the water runoff is going to occur is my number one concern. Now, I spoke to Mr. Bray over here, and of course, this is not something that can't be dealt with, you know, by creating additional sewer drains and all that. The depth of the ravine to be filled in, like I said, it varies. When they remove the trees, it's going to be deeper, you know, because you can't just bury those trees down there underneath so much dirt. And that, you know, like I said, that's going to make it deeper. I have no clue how they're going to get a bulldozer down there. And I don't see any way to remove those trees when they're cut down other than bringing a crane into the area. And there is virtually no flat area there to stage these events from or to park a crane unless you park it in the middle of the roadway on Covington Pike. That's going to be a real challenge. Not sure which way sewage, water lines, and electric will come from. There's an existing, what MLG and W, that big box in the picture right there, that's an intersection for what they call a trunk line. Now, I know we don't use as many hard lines now as we do in the past, but that trunk line feeds everything south of Raleigh-LaGrange. And it's there between the street and the sidewalk. So, also where Lot 7 is, near Oak Meadow, that is the only place that is near street level, and it is not a level lot. And if somebody had to drive equipment into there, they'd either have to level out that lot some to drive down in the ravine, or they'd have to go to the end of Twin Meadows, and that would be a roller coaster ride on a bulldozer. And I've driven bulldozers, and I know how steep I don't want to go, and that would be a fun one. One other thing is, at one time when this subdivision was being built, Twin Woods was supposed to connect to Covington Pike. And I don't know how that never got done, but it might have to do with the depth of the ravine and all that, but it just never happened. The questions that I would have for the owner developer is, here's how you gonna get those trees out without a staging area? You know, where are you going to bring in the dump trucks of dirt to fill that thing in? And I did do some calculations. I have some experience in that. You're talking about 2,800 tandem trailers full of dirt or sand. And where are they going to enter from? It would take the lady's house at the corner of at the end of Twin Woods Avenue there and be a nightmare for her, because her driveway is right at the end of there. You know, next thing is walking down the sidewalk on Covington Pike. I see the sidewalk is slanting. On the south end, it slants about 3 inches where it's getting washed out underneath the sidewalk. So I'm thinking, you know, removing those trees and doing that kind of work has potential of destabilizing the road bed on Covington Pike. And I'm sure that's, you know, again, not an engineering challenge that can't be overcome, but it is something. And we did see a little bit of mention about how city services, you know, where we're going to put a fire hydrant. That I think that's all fine. I don't know how the fire department really feels about having an alley with 7 homes on it that's a dead end at the end of another dead-end street, or actually a trio of dead-end streets in there. How is the city going to access this property to collect garbage? I don't see a garbage truck backing down that alley. I think it's about 180 feet. And that's about all I got for consideration here. If there's any questions you'd like to ask me.
Thank you, Mr. Casper. Do you have any questions of Mr. Casper? Okay, we
Yes,
have
ma'am.
one.
If, just to understand the depth of the ravine, the picture with the MLGW box, and yeah, so
Yep.
is Covington Pike up behind that red fence?
No, that's Oak Meadow.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
okay, just trying to get it.
And I took that picture standing on the sidewalk at Covington Pike, and it goes downhill from there.
Okay, so
so-
it's a pretty steep ravine then.
It is a very steep ravine. Like I said, I wouldn't go climbing down. Maybe for Ms. Dyer's property, it might be a little bit more gentle slope, but I also don't like poison ivy
Okay, no, I was just.
because it
just-
loves me.
Just to get a visual. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? Okay, we're ready for the rebuttal.
Thank you. We're aware this is a challenge site. I mean, it's sat vacant for 40 years since the other subdivision was done around it, and I think that was partially the topography of the site and partially the desire not to front lots on Covington Pike. But it's a little bit of a different market now, and the developers are willing to look at that. We've got a lot of issues that we're going to have to work out on this, but they're all manageable. Mr. Casper's worried about the storm drainage. Obviously, we'll have to go through city engineering on that. I don't know, because of the size of the ravine or size of the culvert that goes under Covington Pike, if we will be looking at detention on this, or if they would prefer that we go out without detention. We may lose a lot if we have to do a detention basin. As far as access and staging, we're not going to access through Twin Woods. We'll access off of Covington Pike for the construction area. We're not going to run the construction traffic through there. And if the board wants to add that as a condition of approval, we don't have a problem with that either. As far as the amount of dirt, Mr. Casper and I talked about that before the meeting. It really depends on the final grading, and that's one of the issues that we had, and one of the reasons that we looked at a drive access off the back. If we had done drive access off of Covington Pike, we probably would have been looking at raising those building pads to above the Covington Pike level. With an alley in the back, we've got the option of either being at the level of Covington Pike or maybe slightly below, which will make a big difference in the amount of dirt. But again, all of these are issues that we will deal with on the construction plan process, and that's coming down the road, assuming that this board approves this subdivision and we get a chance to dig into the construction plans on it. Be happy to answer any questions you have.
You have any questions of Mr. Brown?
Can I throw in one more note? My guess is the entire sidewalk along Covington Pike is going to have to be repaired. I don't think there's 3 feet of it contiguous that's in good shape. So,
I was looking at the topo. It looked like about a 10-foot difference between the edges of the property, which is not that's not a crazy.
No,
amount
I'm
of
showing
fill.
8 to 10. I'm showing 8 to 10.
But how do you deal with the tension on the site? Just wondering.
There's a culvert that goes under Covington Pike, so probably without the plan up there in front of us, it's possible that either lot 3 or 4 would go away and become a detention basin, which would then also provide us with a little additional area where maybe we would do the mailbox kiosk and things like that.
Gotcha.
Any further questions?
Mr. Gray, on Twin Woods, it seems unusual where it just stops there. Normally when they stub like that, the intention is to extend it on to the next street. I notice here it just stops there, no cul-de-sac or anything there. Is that?
Yeah, that was, actually the developer on this had conversations with DPD before I was even involved with it. And I don't think there's any desire for that road to go through and put another intersection in, and that subdivision doesn't have any desire to have that connection through. We may have to work with the fire department to create a turnaround at that location, but I don't think anybody wants another connection to Covington Pike in that area.
Oh, okay. It just seems unusual for that lot.
It is.
In the stops. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
I have one more question.
Mr. Winter?
I was going to also ask about drainage and fire department access because the opposition did bring it up. And I think you've acknowledged it and already addressed it, but I just wanted to acknowledge that the staff report does include comments from the fire department, which addresses turnaround, and it references the International Fire Code in terms of access, grade, dead ends. It addresses all those things. So I assume that you would comply with all those, and you've already acknowledged that it may require you to reduce a lot off of it.
Yeah, we may lose a lot off of it. Now, as far as for emergency response, the fire department would respond off of Covington Pike and not up the alley.
Got it.
Anybody else? Okay, hearing none, we're going to go ahead and close the public portion of our meeting. Mr. Gill.
Oh, I'm sorry. Motion to approve item number 11, S 2025-020.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Are there any further questions amongst our board members? Okay. Any more questions? Hearing none, I assume we're ready to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. Call the next case.
I'm going, all right. Item number 13, SUP 2025-007, Fraser, special use permit to allow a child care center in residential single-family, 6R6 zoning, located at 2925 Baskin.
the applicant here? Give us your name and address. Applicant. Just give us your name and address, the applicant. We just need your name and address before she presents the case.
Sherry Jackson,
And your address.
418 North Erickson Road.
Okay, thank you. We're ready for the presentation.
Good morning. I'm Chloe Christian with DPD presenting this case. It's SUP 2025-007, and this is a special use permit to allow a child care center at 2925 Baskin Street. The applicant is here with us today, Ms. Sherry Jackson. Here's a location map of the property. It's in the Fraser area. The property is currently zoned R6, in which special use permits may allow child care centers in this zoning district. It's surrounded by a mix of uses, predominantly single family, and there are some institutional uses to the north, including an elementary school. Here are some photos of the subject property. It's on a corner lot, so the photo on the left-hand side is the subject property from Baskin Street. There's an existing curb cut there. And the photo on the right is from Vista View Street. The curb cut on the left-hand side on Baskin Street, you'll see is pretty close to the intersection, so we are going to recommend that that curb cut is closed and installed further down south. Here's the site plan that was prepared by the applicant that shows the new driveway and curb cut location. It also proposes a playground area to the rear of the facility. This is a sketch that I prepared that shows the location of the existing curb cut that would be removed and the new drive. We're also recommending that vehicles enter from Vista View and exit from Baskin Street, so there's a steady flow of traffic for drop-off. As far as the Memphis 3.0 comprehensive plan, this request was found to be consistent with the future land use goals. And so in conclusion, staff is supporting this application for a child care center with a condition to accommodate no more than 32 children. As I mentioned before, there are 2 access points on the site, and we're recommending that the existing curb cut on Baskin is closed and installed further down south as an exit-only point with entry from Vista View Street. There is adequate parking available for the facility along both the street frontages, and there's also 3 on-site parking spaces as well. And so we support this request based upon these 6 conditions, which I'm happy to explain further if there are any questions. But that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Is that it? Okay, thank you. Now we need you to make your presentation for the applicant. And then we have 2 supporters that we'd like to hear from too.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Sherry Jackson, and I first want to say that I am in agreement with the staff and the presentation that they presented before you for me. The only thing that I have today, because I don't want this to be a long, difficult situation, but I want to to say first, good afternoon, good morning to the board and staff members of the community. And my name is Sherry Jackson. I'm a proud owner and founder of the Honey's Preschool Learning Academy. First, I want to respectfully clarify a common misunderstanding. Many people tend to group all early childhood facilities under the label of child care centers. But I am not opening a child care center. There is a distinct difference between a preschool and a child care center. While child care centers serve a vital role by providing a safe space for children while parents work or attend daily responsibilities, Honey's Preschool Learning Academy is not just a place for drop-offs. We are an educational institution dedicated to early learning and development. We are a preschool, and our mission is centered around education, growth, and community impact. My team and I are here to serve the Fraser community, a place where I raised my own children, where some of my educators live, and we are deeply invested. We are not here to take over the community. We are here to give back to it. We're committed to helping children develop foundational skills before they enter kindergarten, assuring they're prepared academically, emotionally, and socially. Our support doesn't stop with preschool-aged children. 2 nights a week, we will open our doors to offer free tutoring for children in the community, especially those who need help after school when many community centers and schools are closed. We understand that some parents work late, and we want to be a resource for those families, helping bridge the gap and supporting children's academic needs. We are not here to take over anyone's job or create traffic issues. Our setup includes street parking, and we are mindfully of safety and accessibility, including concerns about emergency responders. We are operating with care, compliance, and consideration. Regarding the outdoor play, we follow state voucher guidelines that require children to get fresh air daily. However, we'll use discretion on hot or inclement weather days, ensuring children are safe and engaged with indoor activities. That is my presentation for today.
Okay. Thank you. We have 2 supporters that we'd like to hear from. There would be Dorothy Macklin, and Tyrone Macklin. You can come up and give us your supporting statement. Give us your name and address.
My name is Dorothy Macklin, and I live at 3621 Sunrise Street, right in Fraser, 38127.
Okay, you said you have a statement to make.
Yes, I just wanted to say, on behalf of Ms. Jackson, she's a dutiful person. I've known her for many years. She's got 9 children her own self, but so she know how to take care of them. She's been at a school already where she is an assistant director, but even before then, all of her time she's been with children. She loves children. This is her passion. She's gone through many training, got many degrees just for stuff like this. And as I said, I've been in Fraser now 30 years. I'm 75 years old. And I know all those schools around there, and, my kids went there. That's my son. He'll be 52. So see, we just know the area, and she's not trying to, that's the point she's trying to get over. She's not trying to clutter up or do anything around that place. It's a drive-through where you go in on this side, drop the kids off, come out on that side. And it's a big school right up the street. So when parents come, they can drop the kids off and go on down to the preschool, and it's not a daycare, it's a preschool. And I thought I heard something about the traffic or something, but those kids won't be getting out until, 5 or 6 or whatever in the evening time. And I'm just telling you.
Okay.
All I can do is tell you the truth, baby. That's all I can do is tell you the truth. She's a good person. She loves children. And I know this daycare will be what she wants it to be. She has gone to school too many years for it. Got other degrees other than this, but that's what she wanted to do. God bless you.
Thank you. And we'll hear from Mr. Macklin and see if we have any questions on this side. Name and address.
My name is Tyrone Macklin. I live at 418 North Erickson. I was just speaking on behalf of my wife. I know the kind of person she is. I know she has a good heart. She loves kids. We have 9 kids together. They are a product of the Fraser area. Me and my sister are a product of the Fraser area. If you name an area, I've been there. I've lived there, from the apartments, Greenbrier, to Rolling Hills, to Ridge Grove. I graduated from Tresman High School. I went to Fraser High School. The area, I know Fraser. And with everything going on in the world today in Memphis, kids need a good beginning. It starts at home. It starts at home, and then it starts with the teachers and getting the kids ready for school, getting them ready for this world. And I know she is ready. She's educated. She's done her homework. And this has been a dream of hers for a long time. So we're not there to hurt the community, bring it down. If anything, bring it up. You can't have too many learning centers. And then she's also doing a program with the aftercare, tutoring, mentoring. We're very active in the church. Some of the deacons at the church, they said they would love to be mentors for the young men. Just come in, sit down, talk, get something off your chest. So I'm in support of her, and I believe the Lord will work it out.
Thank you. Any board members have any questions of the applicant or the supporters? Okay, hearing none, we're ready for the opposition. The opposition gets a chance to speak. And then you can rebuttal after they speak. Okay, we got 6 cards for the opposition. You got 10 minutes. So come on up and give us your name and address, and then give us your statement. And you got 10 minutes for 6 people.
Good morning. My name is Peggy Boyd. I live at 1248 Vista View Code, 38127. I've lived in Fraser over 50 years. My problem is this, safety, traffic, and safety impact. The daycare center will significantly increase vehicle traffic during critical morning and afternoon drop-off pickup at periods because of the traffic congestion that's already existing from Whitney School. So from Whitney School, we have Whitney Schools are pre-K through 5th grade. Okay, they also provide tutoring there also. Then we got Porter Leaf right down the street from Whitney. They provide, that is a daycare, it's a preschool. They provide all the tutoring and all the other things that is required for the kids to go to the next level. Now, my thing is this, is the congestion would be coming off Vista View. You got, when you leave, you got people parking in the parking lane on the right and on the left. Now, that caused a problem for us coming out and coming in. And another thing, it's the congestion is difficult for the residents and unsafe conditions. And we also have kids that's crossing there with both of these cars parked on the left and the right of Baskin. There are no cross guard. The cross guard is at the main entrance of Whitney. So you got children crossing there. Okay, So when they cross the narrow, they can't see traffic coming and going. Then you got parents picking up their kids. It's an apartment complex called Rolling Hills. They're picking up their kids from Whitney also. So when I have to leave off of Vista View and get on, I'm 2 cars on the side of me, so I'm going through the middle of that. So it's the traffic, and it's just, it's the traffic.
We got you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Next, we need your name and address and your statement. We're looking at the opposition.
Yes, my name is Edith O'Donnell. I live at 2923 Baskin, right next door to where she wants to put her preschool. She says it won't interfere with the traffic, but she says that the parents will come in one way, out the other. I have worked at schools before. Parents don't do what they're told to do. My husband leaves the house at 7:30, which is what time she says the parents will be dropping off. And it will interfere in him backing out of our driveway. He gets home at 5, so it's also congestion there when he comes home. So I just don't, my daughter lives across the street with her 5 kids. They're always walking from her house to my house. And with the traffic, I don't want it. Thank you.
Thank you. Name and address statement.
Good morning. My name is Anne Marie Adams. I live at 1251 Vista View Cove in the Fraser area. Vista View is on the side street of Baskin. The area surrounding 29, 25 Baskin streets we're all composed of single-family homes. I've lived there for 57 years, and most of the residents there have lived there that long or a little less. We're very concerned about having a daycare center there that would just disrupt the established residency. And right now we have cars coming through from the school. We have a post office right across the street from the school, and we have the Whitney Elementary School that turned down Vista View, and Vista View is a dead end, and then they have to come down into the cove and turn around. And we just believe that having the proposed daycare center would be fundamentally incompatible with our quiet neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Dolores Marable. I reside at 2953 Vista View, 38127, and I stay directly across the street from the daycare. So along with all of the traffic, also the noise. If it's gonna be any buses picking up kids and getting in, you know how they make that beep, 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 beep noise. And I'm still in the workforce, and I work at night. So therefore, I'm sleeping early in the morning. So I got to hear all this noise because my bedroom is directly across from there. So along with the traffic and the noise, I just don't think it would be compatible for a daycare to be there.
Okay, what's your name again?
Beg pardon?
What's your name again?
Dolores Marable.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
My name is Marvis Rogers, 3059 Victoria Park, Fraser, 3127. I just want to say that we welcome any additional enhancement in our educating our kids. We have, right now with Fraser being labeled as kids graduating with the lowest performing schools, I'll say, We've come from that a long ways from that. Right now, Frazier's got some of the finest pre-K schools, but we welcome Ms. Jackson, whatever she can add to the community. But the issue is the traffic and also the property line is too close to the residents. And you got your noise factors. And it adds so much more to the traffic problem that already exists. So that's the main reason is the noise and traffic.
Thank you. We have one more.
Good morning. My name is James Itzen. I live at 2889 Palm Street, Memphis, 38127. And my main concerns are, along with the other concerns that were spoken, are the inconsistencies in the number of children that have been proposed. The application stated that it would be up to 32 children preschool. The letter of intent says approximately 55 to 60 children. The fire department, their report said that it would be that the maximum number of children should be 5 under 5.5 years old. And with those consistencies, unless they are completely cleared up, those were my main concerns, and I would ask that this special permit would be denied. Thank you.
Thank you. Board members, do you have any questions of the opposition at this time? Okay, with no questions, we're ready for your rebuttal for the applicant, Ms. Jackson.
Okay, so I want to go back just a minute for the gentleman that just stepped up. My recommendation was 55 to 60 children. That was what I felt I could, the amount of children that I could help in the community. But dealing with the state, because I would be on a state, accepting state vouchers, and when they came in and viewed the place that I would be using, they were the ones that recommended I did, anywhere from 36 to 32 children. I opted out and went for the lowest number, which was 32 children. So it would not be 55 to 60, it would only be 32 children. Also, I want to clarify, they are talking about the traffic, and I think with what the staff presented, and we presented together with, maneuvering the driveway, that it wouldn't cause a traffic build up. Also, with dealing with, I will not have buses. There will not be buses coming in and out. The parents, most of my parents are parents that I grew up with in that community. And now their children goes to Whitney Elementary, and it would be a in and out, which some of the parents that I am dealing with, they are new, maybe 6 or 7, but the majority of them are parents that will be dropping off their older children at Whitney Elementary, and the younger children that they have will be coming to Hunter's Preschool Academy. So it will be a drop-off, a straight drop-off, no extra cars or anything coming through. Like I stated, they are parents that I grew up when I stayed in that community. I stayed on Baskin. Me and my husband, about 5 years ago, we stayed on Baskin. So I know and I sympathize with the community on the, the traffic. And I tried my best to get it to the point where it won't be extra traffic coming in there. It would be a straight in and out. And I think with how the driveway is going to be maneuvered, that it would clear up some of their concerns and stuff concerning a buildup of traffic. That's basically all I have concerning my preschool. I do believe that God is with me in this particular thing, and I want to state this one last thing. The reason my being for the home that I have, and it is a residential property, my thing that I have for that, I know the man that has this home, and he's a very nice man. Everything that, we have been asking him to do and he have been asking us to do, we have been doing it. And he have been in, cooperation with us, and we have been in cooperation with him. He fully states this, property being, turned into a preschool academy. And mind you, this is not a property that I am buying. This is a property that I am renting for him. And if he sees enough trust in me and know that I can do it to turn his property, let me turn his property into a preschool, I appreciate him for doing that. And the fact that I wanted to use a home, and I could have went to other properties or other buildings to use, but even I heard one of the community members state that, they have some of the finest there. I agree. Whitney Elementary is one of the finest schools because I have 9 children. 7 of those children went to Whitney Elementary. So I am agreeing with her that that is one of the finest schools in Memphis, elementary school. And if I could bring, because I done seen a lot of places where there is a daycare center here. I'm working at a daycare center now, a preschool now, where here's our preschool. Right on the next lot is another preschool. Across the street is another preschool. And they all work together, with those children. Some of the children have came from one preschool to our preschool. So some of our children have went from our preschool to another preschool. It's all about what you're teaching and what you're providing for those children. And I think with us coming in there, bringing in that extra evening for those parents that has to work in the evening time, and our center closing at 5:30, and we getting that extra hour for those parents that work in the evening time to provide free tutoring for those children. I think we're helping, not hurting. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Do we have any questions of the applicant? No questions? Okay, we're going to close the public portion of this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Gill.
Motion to approve item number 13, SUP 2025-007.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion amongst our board members? Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, I assume that we're ready to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 14, SUP 2025-008, Frazier, special use permit to allow 150-foot CMCS tower located at 1609 Corning Avenue.
Okay, would the applicant please come up and give us your name and address, please? Then we'll have the presentation.
Craig Weiss with Tower Ventures, 495 Tennessee Street, downtown, 38103.
Thank you.
Hi there, I'm the opposition. My name's John Lewandowski. I live at 3603 Winston Drive. It's about 175 yards away from where they want to put that tower. They weren't expecting me.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, please just sit
sorry.
down. Sit down.
All right. Why don't you sit warm up
there? Okay, go ahead, Mr. Smith.
Give me just a second.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be presenting on SUP 2025-008. This is located at 1609 Corning Avenue. And the applicant of this is Louis Katzman and Jerry Grantham. Here's a location map that basically displays where the case is located, where the 150-foot communications tower is located, which is located in Fraser neighborhood. Here's our public notice vicinity map, which basically demonstrates the area view of the site for where the proposed structure should be located. Here's a more detailed aerial view of the site in particular and what we are focusing on. Here's a zoning map that basically outlines the sites and then their nearby properties. And here's a land use map that demonstrates the single-family homes that are located surrounding the property. And here is the site photos of the property located from Corning Avenue. And here's a site plan of the subject property of the proposed development. And as you can see, here's the center of the proposed monopole. The request is for a 150-foot monopole communications tower that's located within the single-family residential zoning district. As staff, we agree with the SUP that's outlined within the UDC, and everything is in alignment. And as we reviewed this case, it does not cause any substantial detriment to the public good, nor will it cause any impair.
Trey, could you zoom in just a little bit on this, please?
One more time?
Could you zoom in on this?
Yes. As staff, we recommend approval with conditions, and then the conditions that we suggested were the site that shall be preserved with the existing mature trees surrounding the area, and then the equipment shall be enclosed within a 6-foot wooden privacy around the lease area to conceal the ground equipment, alongside compound gates that will be surrounding the area. The compound gates will also be wooden. There is a maximum height that will be 150 feet for the monopole communications tower. The tower shall be constructed within 2 years of approval, if approved by the Memphis City Council. The Land Use Control Board may grant a time extension through the applicant filing a correspondence with the public notice into all property owners within 500 feet. Any interference with the Memphis-Shelby County Emergency Communication by a station owner using this property shall be responsible of the station and the tower owner to remedy. That concludes my time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions of Mr. Smith at this time? Then we're ready for the presentation by the applicant.
I believe there's a couple of speakers in opposition, so I'm happy to yield my time for now, and I'm happy to come and present and answer any questions.
Okay, we just have one in opposition. Do we have any in support? Okay. Okay, we're ready for the opposition. Give us your name and address and your statement.
All right, my name's John Lewandowski. I live at 3603 Winston Drive. It's right around the corner from where they're putting this tower. I actually will be living 175 yards away from that tower. And all the information I'm going to give you here came from the Environmental Health Agency and also from Berkeley University. Let me give you the guy's name, Joel Motzkowitz. He's from the School of Public Health at Berkeley's and director of Berkeley's Center for Family and Community Health. All right. I'm not a debater, so please excuse me. I'm not going to give you all the information I gave at the preliminary one of these things. I'm going to jump around a little bit. All right. Hundreds of scientists have evaluated cell towers for RF or radiation frequencies and radiation exposure limits of the United States Federal Communication Commission, or the FCC, and the International Commission for Non-Ionized Radiation Protection, that's the ICNIRP, and found that the limits are outdated and not protective to the health of the public, especially not the health of children. Science confirms harmful biological effects that the FCC and the ICNIRP limits would consider not to be safe. The fact is, the majority of the studies show that critical genetic and neurological damage happens. Well, what we're talking about here is, well, it's not 2, 3, or 4G radiation anymore. It is 5G radiation. It is 60% stronger than it is for the 2, 3, 4, and 5G radiation levels. All right. By the way, I'm an electrical and a mechanical engineer. I do have some knowledge in this. I don't want to go into that. All of my information is coming from who I already told you about. Companies. From future liabilities, wireless companies warn their shareholders of the potential risks related to radio frequency radiation exposure, but they do not warn the people exposed to the emissions from the cell phone antennas or infrastructures. Corporate investors are warned by companies such as AT&T, Verizon, Vodafone, and Crown Castle in their annual reports filed on Form 10-K, and they inform shareholders that the companies may incur significant financial losses related to the electromagnetic fields. This is the statement that comes from Verizon. We are subject to a significant amount of litigation, which could require us to pay significant damages or settlements. In addition to our wireless businesses also faces personal injury and wrongful death lawsuits relating to the alleged health effects of the wireless phones or radio frequency transmitters. We may incur significant expenses in defending these lawsuits. In addition, we may be required to pay significant awards or settlements. All right, as I mentioned earlier, Joel Moskowitz, a researcher at the School of Public Health at Berkeley and director of Berkeley Centers of Family and Community Health, has been studying the effects of radio frequencies on human bodies, states that people are addicted to their cell phones. We know that everybody has to use them in their everyday functions. So they're kind of resistant to the harmful effects of the health, but they don't know what it is. It's just too much for some people. Cell phone towers and other wireless devices are regulated by most governments. However, our government stopped funding research on health effects of radio frequency radiation in the 1990s. Dr. Moskowitz said the research has shown significant adverse to biological and health effects, including brain cancer, liver, kidney, all the organs. It harms everything. It actually fries you. 5G is measured in what's called milliliter waves, or it's far more powerful than radio frequencies 2, 3, and 4. These radio frequencies have a significant effect on the heart, liver, kidney, and brain, also affecting the DNA change. cellular atrophy, and cell death. I'm going to try to shorten this because I had about 10 minutes worth the last time I spoke. But the telecommunication companies are spending over $118 million a year on lobbyists and politicians. Stop me from giving you the information that I'm giving you. You guys don't want these antennas or cell towers anywhere near you. Well, the 2, 3, and 4G cell towers shouldn't be any closer than a quarter mile to anybody. The 5G shouldn't be closer than a half mile. Remember, I told you my house is 175 yards away from that cell tower. I counted the residents in that area from within 300 yards of that cell tower. Almost 50 residents live in that area. I looked at the satellite picture up there. I don't know if they want to go back to it, but across the street from that property, there's a school zone with a school way about a quarter mile away that is closed down. They're not going to put up another school there. Right next to their catty corner is another area. It's a park. I've lived in my house for exactly a year now. I've never seen anybody in that park. If they put that tower at the other end of that park, it's going to be a lot farther away from my house and all these other people. But as the crow flies, less than a quarter mile away are not the daycares and stuff that they were talking about before this, but there are also 3 other daycares and, pre-K facilities. The effects of 5G on these children is about 4 times worse than it is on an adult. And I think only one other person showed up from my neighborhood because I went around and talked to everybody in that neighborhood, and they were kind of expecting me to come over and do this for them, or they would have showed up. Most of them were handicapped or working or whatever. And like I said, I'm not a speaker, but I have a lot of knowledge in this area from some place that I worked before over in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I don't know, this cell tower should go across the street over by that school that's shut down, or over at the other end of that park, away from everybody. Best place for it to go. I'm going to cut this short right now, but I can give you a lot of more information on this, on how it affects your body. It actually changes your DNA.
Okay, we got.
So I'm going to go ahead and cut it out at this point because somebody else wants to speak. But
okay, we have one more speaker and they only have 1 minute. Thank you, sir. 1.5 minutes.
Sorry. My name is Loretta Miller, resident of Fraser, 2159 Pueblo Avenue, 3127-5723. Graduate of Tresvant High School, graduate of University of Memphis, past president of the FCA, past president of the Fraser Community Association. We are standing here, or I'm standing here on behalf of some of our residents. Like you said, yes, they are older, they are retired, but they are in opposition of this because of the same reasons he mentioned. They're concerned about the level of ozones or the OHMs that are going to come to them living in that area. They're concerned about that. Yes, they are homeowners. I understand Fraser is somewhere around 40% residents, 40% property owners, and about 60% of just renters. But our goal is to move Fraser to be continually a home of residents. Yes, Fraser has a lot of trees. Yes, we have a lot of problems with cell towers. Yes, our children have a lot of problems when they're in the school, when they're trying to work with the internet. I get that, I understand that. But it's a certain strip across Fraser from Range Line all the way over to Highway 51, where that cell reception is bad. I say that because I ask you to do your due diligence, whatever feasibility studies that need to be done, needs to be done. We're not opposed to cell tower. We're not opposed to that. We're just opposed to this specific location. That's what we're opposed to. I understand all of our residents can't come there. I've been in Fraser, property owner since 1986. So I have 2 properties in Fraser. My son also lives in Fraser, and my brother and my sister. There's a lot of us. And we like the community. We only ask, again, that you do your due diligence. Don't just pass over this. If we need to come back with more information, more residents, we need to plan more, whatever we need to do, but we need to make sure that we do know that this is the right process and the right thing for Fraser. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions of the opposition? Any questions? Okay, we're ready for the rebuttal from the applicant.
Good morning. Willie Slate, 495 Tennessee Street. This is going to be given in 2 parts by myself and my colleague, Mr. Craig. First of all, we want to put the community at ease. We've been here many times before with cell tower information. And we do keep updated with the American Cancer Society, the federal FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, and the American Medical Association. We want to assure those who've spoken here this morning that based on the information we have, and we keep it currently updated, the radiation coming out of, or the radioactivity coming from the cell tower is less damaging to them than their cell phones. The next thing is non-ionizing radiation, and because of that, there is not enough radiation coming from it to do any damage to the DNA cells and or anything else relative to human nature. Another thing is we appreciate the communities, we work in the communities. That was my community for over 46 years in the educational role that I had, which I'm back in, by the way. And that the levels of radiation used by the energy emitted by the cell towers is much less than, as I've said before, than the energy they would get even from a home radio. And finally, in terms of aesthetic appearance, the erection of the tower in the area that has been selected would greatly improve and enhance the community based on the recommendations that have been brought to you this morning by staff.
I'll just be real brief. We've been in the cell tower business for over 30 years in this city, in this county. We have towers all around the city. We've had towers at churches, schools, et cetera, and there's never been an issue. It's a science, not an art. It is a challenge to find locations that work for the RF engineer at the cell phone company and then also work best in the neighborhood. So we do have good tree line screening on the slot, a wooden fence for screening of the equipment per the recommendation of Office of Planning and Development, and we will follow all of the regulations. Again, we are regulated by the FCC and the FAA, and obviously we manage with the setbacks of the city and the municipality that we work in. And so we follow all those and we accept the recommendations, and we appreciate your support.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yes. Craig, yes. Question I have, what's the difference between these? I understand 5G and all of that.
Sure.
But does it emit more than your traditional cell tower? I remember I opposed one that's a football field from my house. That's when I really got to know you guys.
Yeah.
That was not 5G. Is there a difference?
Yeah, there's a difference in speeds, and the frequencies that each carrier uses has different strengths and that sort of thing based on the bandwidth. So 5G is faster, but it's actually more advanced than the old versions, and so it is not considered more harmful in any way.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I have less of a problem with the radiation and all that, but why does this have to be in a residential neighborhood? I think that to me is more of an issue, because I do think that really does negatively impact home values in the surrounding area, where if it's put on a church or in school or in a commercial property, it's not as much of a deal. But when that is literally in somebody's backyard, that will have a negative effect on their home value. And why this property is my question.
Sure. I guess there's a few aspects to that. First of all, we do have towers that started and neighborhoods developed around the sites, and we have seen no effect on property values there. Let me step back to where this originates. The cell phone companies give us a search ring, an area where they have all their data of drop calls and missed calls and no coverage, and we've provided those maps here. And that is a search ring within which we have to go find the best possible, either first existing structure or try to find one that works within that search ring. So it is driven by the cell phone companies and their lack of coverage. And it is obviously a public safety issue for everyone's phones to work. And so we have to work within that and find the best. We can't control where that search ring is zoned. If it's zoned residential, we do try to find a vacant lot, meet the setbacks, distance from residential uses, and all those types of things to be the best within that zone. The best sometimes is, not 100% desirable, but it's the best we can do.
Any further questions? Okay, if not, I'm going to close the public portion of this meeting. Mr. Gill?
Motion to approve item number 14, SUP 2025-008.
We have a second. We have a motion. Is there any discussion amongst our board members? Is there any discussion? Okay. If there's not, we are ready to vote. All in favor? We're ready to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
Okay, we want to take it separately.
Yes, Madam Chair. Mr. Gill?
Yes.
Mr. McKinnon? No.
Mr. Norman?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connell? Mr. Thomas? Mr. Tolles? Ms. Wilbanks? Mr. Winter?
No.
Vice Chair Wiles Wallace? Chair Sharp?
Yes.
Ayes have it, motion approved.
Motion carries. Thank you.